Hey guys, we want to welcome you back to another CYBL today. I know it's been a while since we've had a podcast with you guys, but today is an exclusive. Hey Alan?
This is the best one yet.
This is going to be unbelievable. You guys are going to want to tune in, grab some popcorn, strap yourself into your seat, make yourself nice and comfy, get a blanket if you need to, because it's going to be a good one, guys. We have with us here today, we have Frazier Covey,
Yes,
a reigning champion, Frazier Covey.
I'm feeling great. Yeah, blessed to be on the podcast.
Yeah, man. We're blessed to have you on the pod, bro. So it's going to be exciting to hear from you tonight. We also have on the pod here tonight the one and the only Tyrese Kutama. Tyrese, how we feeling tonight, man?
Hey man, I'm stoked to be here. I got robbed a little bit last time, so I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have some takes tonight. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Hey, It's gonna be awesome. He is our CYBL sports analyst here tonight.
Yes.
He's gonna be coming in hot. Hot takes with Ty. Hot takes with Ty.
Yes.
Hot takes with Ty. Yes, sir.
So it's gonna be good. So just to open us up here, obviously we just wrapped up the Central Conference fall season there. And so tonight we're going to be breaking down, just some of the big moments that took place over the course of the playoffs, as well as, we're going to have for you guys kind of like Frazier's experience of this playoffs. It's his second time, I think, going to the finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
his second time going to the finals, and if your first time winning the Central Conference Finals. You won an OCC before you won a finals, man. That's pretty impressive.
We did.
That's crazy.
So he's got that under his belt already. And then we're gonna continue the show. We got Tyrese. He's gonna give us some tape and numbers. He's gonna be the one really kind of locking in some of the analytics for us coming in.
For sure.
So it's gonna be really good. And then we will end off kind of talking about what we have to look ahead at and in the winter season. So some exciting things on the dock here. So to start us off. Let's start off. We're going to go right into first segment here. Let's talk about the playoffs. Let's talk about some of the defining moments in this playoffs. What would you say was one moment that defined the Central Conference playoffs? You guys can all take your shot at this one.
Let's go young. Yeah, let's go youngest to oldest here.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I would say the biggest thing, I wouldn't even say it's from our games, but when the Golden Gates came back against the Flames, that was insane. I remember that game, and I thought the Flames were gonna win, and then you guys just kept pouring it on and pouring it on. You guys were down by 8 or something, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy comeback because Flames were 1 seed going into the playoffs. So yeah, that was a big moment. It was that end of the game stretch there, I would say.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, I must say. I don't think to be honest, I think all my predictions were wrong this playoffs. I think I went from literally having a perfect record or next to it to having I got humbled, put it that way.
Yeah.
Hey Ty, what do you thoughts,
Yeah,
man?
honestly, I feel like for my bracket, the Golden Gates really messed me up, man. They really messed me up. I had the Flames going to the finals, and then the first game I was taken aback, but they played a really good game.
Yeah.
And I think as a basketball fan, man, the Golden Gates, that game against the Flames was perfect. The atmosphere and everything. As a fan, as a neutral fan, I don't remember if I was reffing or not. It's been a while, but just as a neutral person, that was such a good game, man. The environments, you could see the tensions in the players, and it was kind of cool to see Nate and Aiden playing on their old team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Nate, really good playoff run. I think if they were to win the championship, I know it would be a finals thing, but they don't get to the final. He went crazy. So for me, for sure,
crazy.
The Golden Gates run was amazing, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go, Alan. Then I got a question for everybody.
Okay, cool. No, I would agree with everyone here because the Lions, maybe we didn't say it in the thing. I don't know if our predictions were true, but just watching how they dominated through the playoffs, Like
Goodness.
there was like, and you just saw that. I mean, they didn't. The only game they lost was against us, and they were missing half their team. So it's
We
like
had 5
it's not like
players
they
that
had a
game.
yeah, it's not like they had a real loss to us, right? Like the rest of the season, they went undefeated, and just what they did in that playoffs. I mean, that's got to be one of the most dominant
Runs.
playoff teams, or just like teams in general. But like in what they did in the playoffs, like even the finals, how they just dismantled us like that. Like, probably one of the greatest teams I've seen in a long time. Probably would
Does
rival the Knights dynasty
Ooh,
team. You know,
that's
that would
crazy.
be that would probably be, I think, their best fight that the Knights would have ever had was kind of
That's
this
crazy.
team. So yeah, I was proud of my team too. I mean, like I think honestly though, that was a defining moment because us beating the Flames and the Strikers, I think both of those teams probably fare a bit better
Hmm.
against the Lions than we would have. Just
Matchup wise,
the
yeah.
matchup wise, like
Hmm.
I think that would have been a whole other game out there, right? So I think that yeah, everything kind of just worked out great for the Lions.
It is true. It is true. And while
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts here, but I remember I got 3 other people with me. So,
Yeah.
what I want to ask you guys is, what do you think? Like the Flames coming into the playoffs, they were the significant favorites in that
Mm-hmm.
series. And in a few series following that, like, what do you think was their demise? What caused them to crumble there in that playoff game? We can start with Frazier. You can start us off.
The defense, for sure, the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it's like they're so offensive based, and then, like, when you, like, start missing shots, like, when people start missing shots, then it's like
Mm-hmm.
your identity fades, and then it's like
Mm-hmm.
Right.
the
Wow.
defense isn't there to
Wow.
rely on it.
That's good. Yeah.
Wow. Hey,
Yeah.
we're talking to a reigning champion here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What about you, Ty?
Yeah, man, just what Frazier kind of said there, the defense, and I think like a lack of experience in a sense. So I'll get into that a little
Yes.
bit more. First and
Yeah.
foremost, with the defense, like the Flames, they were the second worst defense in their division, right? So
Wow.
that's the stats. Unfortunately, they were
Can't win a
or
chip like that.
they were ahead of the Knights, man. They were ahead of the Knights, but like the Knights had their
Yeah.
the Knights. I love the Knights. I love the Knights. That's my team, but yeah,
Assistant
man.
coach Ty.
Defensively, the Flames, they did not, really execute. And that was for me. Like I said, I picked them to go to the finals, but for me, that was my biggest okay, if they lose, it's the defense, you know. But I
Mhm.
thought just because of how dominant their offense was, they'd be able to, get over that hump. But Golden Gates had an amazing defensive game
Yeah.
against them, as well as the experience. They won the finals last year, but they also had Nate and Aiden on their team, and they were kind
Hmm.
of manning the front, right? So that
Yeah.
Yeah.
really plays a factor. And then obviously you have guys like who have been there way before, but their first option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their first option, Ryder comes in and he's relatively new to the league. This is his second season, I believe, right? And this is his first season as a first option. So that kind of just plays into that experience going into the playoffs, playing against
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's been to the finals numerous times, somebody who has all these accolades in Nathan, and with the supporting cast of the Golden Gates, experienced coach and Allen, so on and so forth. That plays a factor into why, they end up losing. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Hey.
tough when
Yeah.
you don't have like someone to like set the table like every possession. Then it's like
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
like if your offense, like I'm guessing most of their offense was probably transitional like based, because that's
Mm-hmm.
like most people. But when you get in the playoffs, like that simmers down.
Mm-hmm.
So then you
You
get
Hmm.
to
know,
like
here's
the game slows down, and
so
then it's
true.
like you have to set up in your offense, and then like who do you go to? Like who's creating the plays?
I think also on top of that, I think they didn't have that dog. Like
Hmm.
they had a lot of players with a
Mm,
lot of shooting ability, you
Hmm.
know, a lot of offensive firepower. They could kind of get to their spots whenever they wanted to. They had multiple people they could give the ball to. They had depth, but they didn't have a dog. They didn't have somebody that would come out and like just say, "Hey, I don't even care about buckets.
Yeah.
I just I just care about being scrappy and getting
Yeah.
those." They didn't have a player like that this
No.
season.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's my thoughts, anyways. When I look at it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, because that's exactly like talking about like their defense, but also their offense. They just were not performing at the level they normally perform at. And I think you could see that in Aiden was dominating the boards. Like they were just
Yeah.
I already said
Wasn't
earlier,
close.
like he was literally, if we would have won, the MVP of our playoff run, because like there was just no one that was working that hard
No.
to just, that's what you need. You need a hustle player, right? And I think like too, when we look back, you look at like the Angels, actually that was a defining moment in kind of the playoff race too, was the Angels not having Noah Trottier. They're him and Zyman, they're workhorses.
Wow.
Like they
Wow.
could have beat True North, and if they beat True North, that's a bigger fight for the Lions. You know what I mean? Having
It's
that
true.
kind of matchup, right? So I think, I think that was kind of, I agree with you on that, Daniel. Like they didn't have someone to match Aiden's level of effort. I
Yeah.
agree. I would say all my guys went all in, but I think Aiden just led. When one guy, when you have that one guy, he will lead the charge. He'll bring everyone else into like, hey, if he's putting this much effort, I've got to raise my level to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
same effort, right? So
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that level of
No,
like
that's good.
like the leadership. It's like set like you gotta set
yeah.
that to set like the intensity.
You know what? That's a perfect segue to talk about you, Frazier. It's you, man. We're gonna go right into that because, like, you kind of just hit on that. Just being a leader, right? And I would say, and I think all of us could agree that you've been around for a while now, CYBL, but we've seen you kind of growing in this area of leadership, taking it on for your team in the hard moments. And so, what I want to ask you is like, what's the mindset when you go into a game? Like, what's the mindset? What helps you like lock in? What helps you, to kind of like lead the charge in momentum for your team?
It's kind of like when you have people on your team that are like not as experienced as like other people, you kind of have to like direct them where to be, and it's kind of like being vocal. Like Reem does that as well. Like you kind of have to like you're communicating like where people need to be on defense, and then it's like where you want people to be on offense, so you can like get this advantage, and then you start to break down the defense. And it's like that's like the
That's
main
good.
thing.
That's good.
Being vocal, I feel
Yeah,
like.
being vocal.
Can
Yeah, I.
can I ask a question there,
Oh,
Daniel?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. On that note, like, did you find playing with Ashton kind of helped, because obviously he was probably one of the best leaders in the league for a long time. Like, did you find like just being in that team and just getting the feel for how they work things out? Did you think that affected your season this season, being that guy now?
I think you can definitely like learn things from the way like Ashton played, because I definitely play like I would say I play a little bit similar to him, but
Yeah.
he gets downhill a little bit more, and I'm more jump shot reliant. But like the way he's like, because when I played with him, I didn't get a lot of touches, so I feel like I could have produced more. But it's
Mm,
like he's kind of like the lead creator, so it's kind of you have to take that back seat, and I was
mm,
okay with that because we were winning. Like I
Yeah.
when we were in the when we were in the OCC finals and we were playing the Strikers, we were face guarding Braden the whole game, and then
mm,
Braden subbed back in. I literally just subbed myself out so Riley could get back in and guard him, because like
mm,
I could care less about the stats. Where like the reason we're winning is because we're locking Braden up, because that's their center of offense. So it's kind of like
yeah.
you're taking this back seat, like you're doing what it takes to win. And
Mm,
like when you learn like especially like Ashton wasn't very like he's not very like 3-point heavy. Like he really gets in the paint. He's drawing
mm,
fouls. He's getting to that floater. Like you really have to like, and you don't get a lot of space. Like there's like when you're running like you got like 2 to 3 non-shooters on the court. You really like you gotta play in like a phone booth. Like you're really working like it's like college basketball kind of like there's always someone in the lane, and you just kind of have to
mm.
figure out how to work around that. And when you play with a guy like Ashton, it's kind of like you learn how he does that, and then you implement it into your game. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
Wow. Wow. Ty, do you have anything you want to ask him before I got something I want to ask him?
Yeah,
See
man.
if you have.
I kind of just want to know more about the offense in terms of the Lions, man. Like, being like the point guard on that team, do you guys have like a set amount of plays, or you kind of just go with the flow? Because on offense, it looks like you guys are really structured in the way that you play, as if you guys have been playing for a long time. But I was just curious into that, if you guys have had practices where you go over offense and whatnot, like what that looks like.
We don't really have like our offense is kind of like it's kind of like just motion, but like we have like it's like setup. We usually have like it's the same as our defense. We just play like 3-2 on defense, and then we play 3-2 on offense basically. So then we'll have like usually it's Reem and Eddie in the paint, and then it depends on like what we're trying to attack on that play. Like I'll call for a screen sometimes, run the pick and roll, or we're getting it whoever has the mismatch. Like you just find the advantage and then kind of
Right,
create off
right.
that. And it's more like when you have like a
Mhm.
weaker defender on you, you kind of just like if I had a weaker defender on me, I'd just wave like get an open corner and just go to work, and then you just get a bucket. And that's like you just have
Right.
to when you get the
Yeah.
mismatch, you have
Yeah.
to use it. So yeah, it's like about
Right
Yeah.
creating
on, right on.
advantages and using them.
Oh, that's just so good, man. Well, that's one thing you can see is you got great basketball IQ. Like it looks
Thank
like
you.
when you play the game, it looks like it's slowing down for you.
Mhm.
That's that's what it looks like when I'm watching you because you literally you play at a different pace than everybody else, and it allows you to make smart plays. Like you're not, I don't see you force stuff. Like you don't force stuff. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that's something that you're playing like kind of ahead of your time. I think
Mhm.
your age. So that's really impressive to see, man. Also that duo, man. How was it like playing with your brother? I gotta
Yeah.
ask you that question.
It's actually that was like our first time playing on a team together. Like we played in a 3v3 tournament together like in the summer, and we that
Mm-hmm.
was like the first summer where we kind of trained together a little bit. Like me and my trainer and him would always like he came to my training sessions, and then he also we played in the 3v3, and then this, and now we
Mhm.
also play on our high school team. So it's like we're kind of building that chemistry, and then it's like
Oh, that's cool.
the connection is it's nice to have them because we've been hooping since since we were really young. So it's like one on one in the driveway, you know. It's it's like I
Uh,
don't know how to explain it. You just kind of have that connection, and it just kind of flows. Like you don't even really think
mm-hmm.
about it. And when he doesn't really, he's not like heavy into basketball. So it's like when we
Mm-hmm.
when he does something like wrong or something that I was like, I'll just communicate with him. Like you just let him know like what you wanted off that, and you learn next time. It's like you build that chemistry, and then it's like
Yeah.
it was really fun though.
Mm.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like he from the beginning of the season to like the end was just not even the same player. Like it
No,
was it was it was
He
just
said he was like
ridiculous how much better he was.
he said he wasn't really taking it serious the first couple of games, and then he like locked in at the end. But he was, dude.
Yeah.
If he played the
Yeah.
same way he did at the end of the season, he would have won. Like he would have. I don't know. Like his averages would have been way
Yeah.
up.
Oh, way up. Yeah. Definitely an all-star for sure. Yeah.
man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, no, it's actually really crazy to see him become as dominant as he
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Like it was actually, I was like, I remember just I kind of blinked and I was like, what is going on with this guy? Like, it was just crazy. It looked like you guys, man, you guys in the paint. That's really what you guys had so much. Nobody could stop you in the paint. It was untouchable in there. It's like,
That's where you gotta
first
be.
of all,
That's
who
where the
gets
most
around?
efficient buckets is.
It's
Yeah.
so true, man. Who gets around Riam, first of all? And
Yeah.
then no one can get around Riam. And then you add your brother into the equation, bro. It was just like, I
And
could
then Levi's
imagine.
always wide open if you find him.
And Levi.
He should have
Yeah,
been an
I know.
all star. You know, he should have been an all star.
Levi was a revelation, I think, coming into this season, though. He just was like, I think that's why he won most improved player. Was the most improved he won?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think, like, when your team just had, you had a lot of good pieces who became great pieces when the time was right too. And so I think
Mhm.
Yeah,
that was what
it's
was
like
really cool to see.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna say?
We have like when you have a lot of good players, then it just kind of you just kind of figure it out. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you have people that are
Mm-hmm.
like high IQ, like you know where to be. and you like have this experience, like you've played organized basketball before, you know where to be, you're not forcing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more organized. It's like it definitely like is better feeling, it's better chemistry, and then that just leads to like better team morale, which leads to winning. So
Mm. Mm-hmm. That's good, man. That's good. I'm gonna move on to a question here for you. What would you say, like, what part of your game showed up the biggest in the playoffs? And I'm gonna count out with the question number two. Who was the toughest defensive matchup for you in the playoffs?
toughest defensive matchup in the playoffs. I feel like the Warriors defense was like probably the toughest, but they're so aggressive. It's like once you
Mm.
beat the first guy, it's like you're 5-on-4. It's like you're just you're playing. You have this
Mm.
advantage created off the pressure. Like once you like usually they had a guy full court pressing me, and it's like it wasn't really bothering me because he's not
Mm-hmm.
really putting pressure on the ball. He's just putting pressure on the ball to put pressure on the ball. So, and then it's like you beat that guy with like a screen or something, and then they start scrambling. Next thing you know, Levi's got a wide open layup. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like the most important thing is like when we get downhill, because when you get downhill, then it opens everything up. Like even when Reem gets downhill, then it's like an opportunity for me to get open for a three. So it's always that's
Mm-hmm.
what my high school
Yeah.
coach says. Is he always like we always got to get downhill. We always got to get in the paint because that creates the open threes. That creates the backdoor cuts. That's what it's really about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I think you've been coached well, and you can see it. You can definitely see it for sure. I'll move on to one more question for you here. What do you think? What did you learn the most from this postseason, and what would be your advice to other CYBL players in the Central Conference watching this pod right now? What would be your advice for them heading into the winter season, which is our OCC season?
Mm.
Got to get
Big season
another
for sure.
ring. Um. Yeah. Okay. I feel like what I learned most. I feel like it's not when you have a lot of these good, like if you have good players on your team, like even if you're like the second third option, you can still like contribute at a very high level. Because when I'm not hitting shots, like I just let Riem create, and it's like I just focus my energy on defense. So you
Mm-hmm.
get that defense, and then it's like you have you let other people get touches, and it's like your whole offense has like this boosted team chemistry, and then it's like you have better, like I don't know how to explain it, but like it just it feels smoother. Like it's not forced, it's not
Mm-hmm.
rushed, and you just kind of have this like free flowing. Like you when you're not making shots, you like your overall like your impact isn't based on your winning shot. Like you're hitting shots. That's like
Mm.
that's what I've learned personally because I've started halves where I've gone like 2 for 9, but it's like you get other people involved, and then
Yeah.
you come back second half,
Not
then
everyone
you
thinks
start
like
making
that, man.
shots. Yeah, you start making shots in the second half, then the defense is really like because if you're not making shots in the first half and you let someone else create, then the defense is adjusting to that at halftime, and then you come back out, and if you're out of that shooting slump, then it just creates a whole nother layer.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, bro. No, it's true, man. It's true. And what would be your advice to players heading into the season, bro? What would be players that are coming in? Think about where you came from, right? You're at the mountaintop right now. You're reigning champion. You have a Central Conference championship, an OCC. But you weren't always in that place. So, like for new players that might be coming in, for instance, going into this season, what would be your advice for them as they kind of hit the ground running this winter?
I'd definitely say just it all comes down to like defense. Like if you're just commit on defense and your defense will turn into offense. Like we had a lot of transition points, and that's like when transition is like the most efficient way to get points. So if you just focus your energy on defense, even if you're not getting steals, like you're contributing, like even if like let's say like how I played with Ashton, I wasn't bringing the ball up. I wasn't getting like that many touches at all. I'm playing like off ball most of the time. So when you're playing like that, you just have to find other ways to contribute. Like learn. I would say if you can shoot and play defense, that's really all you need. Because you
Mm,
can just, if you're focusing all your energy on defense, then it's really just you're playing off ball and you're just there for your creator. And when he's getting like double teamed or trapped, you're open. That's your look right there, and you're
yeah.
Mm.
not wasting energy on that.
Mm, mm. That's good. Hi. Hey, y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. Frazier Kobe
Defense wins
is.
championships.
That's it. That's it. Frazier Kobe has spoken,
Yeah.
folks. So we're gonna turn our attention now on to the next segment of our show. We're bringing in the analyst, Tyrese Kataba. Hey, bro. Floor is
Oh
yours, man.
man,
You can take it away.
man. We're gonna have to have like a tapes and numbers. Tyrese Kutama on a nice, what day is it today? Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what is that, like triple T Tyrese tape Tuesday? But anyways,
Jeez,
man.
wow. Okay. Bars.
First thing I want to go over really quickly is just keys that won the finals. So, for me, I had rebounding, shot quality, and paint touches. If I'm being 100% honest, the rebounding was really what I think helped the team out. If we compare it to the Golden Gates, Aiden Vang was a phenomenal rebounder, but like you can't just have one person dominating the boards against a team that is so good in terms of rebounds. Like Eddie Covey was averaging 9 rebounds per game the entire season. Riem was averaging 7.7, right? This is someone who was leading in points. So when you have a player who's like two-way scoring and grabbing boards, like that's like for me as a coach, when I look at my players, I tell them like let's focus on the rebounds. Cause again, like Frazier had said, they're a transition team before they have a great half court offense, but transition wise, they're fast, right? So they can get down there with their pace, right? Levi had 8 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? So these are 3 guys who are having like borderline doubles, in a sense. Eddie averaged 8 points per game. Levi averaged 8 points per game, right? So
Yeah.
Frazier averaged
Crazy.
14 points. Riem, obviously, he averaged 16 at a dominant season, right? These are guys who are doing it on both ends of the floor, and there were no holes in their team, right? The rebounding was beautiful. Shot quality, everybody understood what they were good at. I had mentioned this in a video I shot where I'd said Frazier, he's able to kind of like he's a jump shot heavy player, right? And Riem gets to the basket. So Riem, he was never really like a crazy shooter, even throughout the time he's been at CYBL. He was never a shooter, but to be paired up with somebody who can shoot the ball, that kind of just gets rid of that hole in your game. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
same thing, like Frazier can get to the basket, but he's not as dominant getting to the basket as some other guys, right? Phenomenal shot creator from the 3 point. Like he's a 3 level scorer, but
Yeah.
there's somebody on that team who can do that, and they just complemented each other so well, right? And they were always looking for the right shot too. There would be times where I'd watch and maybe they forced something up that wasn't ideally the best. However, they were 99.8% of the time looking for that right shot, right? And
Yeah.
another thing I mentioned that I love was the pick and roll between the brothers. That was probably like my favorite thing. Back when I used to coach like full time, in our playbook, we had a what we called first action. That was our play. And essentially it was just a screen. You call for a screen, and then I kind of wanted to teach those guys how to read the floor, how to learn how to make plays off of that first action, right? Because the screen opens up so many opportunities, right? Pick and pop, screen and roll, right? You could set a screen for the ball handler. They have a free lane to the basket. You could set a screen for the screener. Like there's so many
Yeah.
opportunities that come from a screen, and that's why like I think that's one of the greatest things in basketball. So
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
also adds to the shot quality as well as the paint touches, man. They could not be
Mm-hmm.
stopped in the paint.
Oh, man.
Riem got to the paint whenever he wanted. Eddie could get boards. I think Eddie's touch around the rim was a little off, but like by the end of the season, like he had putbacks where he could make putbacks way easier, and I think that really contributed to the Lions' success. Same with Levi, man. I had Levi on my All-Star
Wow.
ballot, and he was
Wow.
phenomenal. He was a hustler from game one, and he was
Yeah.
guarding Nate. primarily he was guarding Nate. That was another thing that I was gonna add. That's kind of gonna pivot into the
Mm.
adjustment that changed things.
Oh, okay.
Levi was guarding Nate, and I think he got into foul trouble. However, he was kind of being a little physical, like not a bad physical, but like a you kind of want to bump Nate off his spot, you know. And I think that's the thing when it
Yeah.
comes to guarding players who are like phenomenal, right? You gotta make sure, like, depending on the person, they're gonna give you their 20, right? That's just NBA, CYBL, high school. It doesn't matter what league. If they're a phenomenal player, they're gonna give you the 20. So at that point, it's not a matter of putting someone on them to stop them, but to make it more uncomfortable, to slow them down, right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
principle I looked at when I matched up against Aiden Stockton numerous times. I matched up against Nate numerous times. And it's like, okay, throw the double team at them, but we're not trying to stop them from scoring 25. We just want them to have like shoot like 20 for 47. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Levi's physicality was really something that was a turning point. And just in terms of like strategies for the finals, I think the Lions coming in, like they just stayed true to their identity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They didn't move away from that. They were great defensively, they were great offensively. They were a transition team. They stayed a transition team throughout the entire playoffs, right? And that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of the thing where you have that meltdown. Like I'll give the example of the Flames. Offensively, they were a really good team offensively because they had transition, but they also
Mm-hmm.
like they could get to the basket and they could
They
get boards.
could.
Ryder had
They
a lot of
could.
rebounds, right? But obviously when you're not trying as much to grab rebounds or you're matched up against a team that maybe out rebounds you, that identity, it kind of starts to shift and then you're
Mm-hmm.
flustered now because what isn't there. So that also comes into also
Mm-hmm.
being able to adjust and whatnot. But I think for the most part, Lions, they stayed true to who they were. They got to the basket. They played phenomenal defense, things on both ends of the floor. And it's like for their star players, their best two players to be like two-way players, I feel like that's really, really, really beneficial because it just
Mm-hmm.
sets the standard for the rest of everybody on that team, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sat
Yeah.
on their bench. I sat on their bench for their game against True North, I believe, because I was just roaming and recording. And they have a
Mm.
good culture. Like they're good kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're great individuals. There's no animosity towards one another, no egos, right? Even listening on the
Give it up to
court, you can
Coach
always
Glenn.
hear. Of course, Coach Glenn. That was another thing, man. I had coach. I didn't know if we were doing Coach of the Year. I had Coach Glenn as my coach of the year, coach of the season. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because he
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
he instilled this vision in these young men, and it was just beautiful to see. Like they were actually a very, very good team. Like even like in terms of behavior, like we never had behavior problems in CYBL, but like they were really, really nice kids. They were respectful as like to me as a ref, and I always get scared when I ref because I'm like the players might snap on me, but for the most part it was good, and they were really nice to me, man. So like again, they had an amazing culture, they had an amazing offense, amazing defense. So that really plays into it, you know. And in terms of impact, another thing I want to talk about is impact without scoring. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I want to give that to Eddie. Him setting screens, being big body, grabbing these rebounds, I think is like what really does it for me. I mentioned my love for screens, man, and I feel like we should track like in the NBA, you should track screen assists, man, because it's like you set a screen and you're opening up so many opportunities, you know.
You could
So
do
I
it,
feel
Ty. I
like
believe in you.
I might have to. No, I might have to, man. I might have to. But no, for real, man. Like it's crazy. Like just watching that. That was like the first thing that I saw. That's why I had asked Frazier about like if they have any set plays because they go to that screen and roll very often, you know? And it was like when you have a player who's running that, who has basketball IQ and can shoot the ball, like it's deadly, right? Because if they play drop coverage and they sag down, that's an easy shot. Easy,
Yeah.
right? If they
Mhm.
hedge over the screen, that's a roll, it's a quick dish, right? So there's so many opportunities that come from the screen, which is why I think like in any play at any level, you need to know what a screen, you need to know your options for screens, and you gotta like branch off the screens, you know?
Yeah.
Frazier gets to his spots, man.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I like I know I don't want to hype you up too much, bro, but I definitely would say like your footwork and the way you get to your spots, bro, it reminds me of a certain player. You know what I mean? Number 24, my guy. All right,
Kobe, man.
Yeah.
do we call you the
R.I.P.
White Kobe?
Kobe. White Mamba.
White
I'm not
Mamba.
Brian's
White
fellow BG,
Mamba.
bro.
Oh,
Brian Scalabrine. Hey man, I'm just saying. If the shoe fits, brother.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's got red hair too. He's got red hair too.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, man. If the shoe fits, man. No, but if he's a bucket getter. I remember watching the first game because I wasn't present the season that Frazier was there with the Warriors.
Mm,
I think I was off that season. And I remember watching him for the first time in the overtime game against the Golden Gates. And like he was hitting every shot. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, who is this kid, man? Because I never had any, usually I interact with everybody in the league, right? Just to get to know them, know their play style and whatnot. And I'd never seen him before. And then now he's
mm.
coming, he's hitting these bump fades off one, you know what I'm saying? Hitting 3-pointers, getting to the cup, hand ones. I was like, okay, man, like he might be the truth. He might be the truth. So, it was really cool to see, man.
I
That's awesome.
think something that kind of stands out for me about Frazier is not like it. It's like yeah, he has everything in the skill, but as far as his playmaking is what sets him apart for me,
Mm,
because a lot of guys kind of like he alluded to before, they're getting themselves, they're running into 3-4 guys. I just never felt that way, and that's actually something Ty mentioned, right? Was just they were making 99.8% of the time the right decision. And the right decision wasn't always him shooting or whatnot. It was like he would find Levi for those easy buckets. And yeah, Levi's in the right spot and he's, so it's good. But you know what? Like, I think, like, are we saying that Levi's the most improved if he's on another team? Would he have looked as good
Mm-hmm.
without the playmaking of Frazier, right? So there's something to be said there that, like, I think when you have that, like Ty said, right? Like Riam's, giving way to Frazier to lead the way, it just made Riam look 10 times better, right? So I think when you have a great playmaker, everyone on the team looks better. So it'll be interesting to just see. Obviously, that team's gonna probably get exploded and not all be together again this next
I hope
season.
not,
But
bro.
we'll
we'll
see.
see what
But
the draft combine brings
yeah, we'll
us.
see what the combine brings. Hopefully, if you guys can stay together, it'd be cool. But yeah, we'll see what it brings.
For sure,
Crazy,
man.
man. Crazy. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
continue, Ty. I
Yeah,
got you.
for sure. The last thing I wanted to cover was what young players should value more. I think when you're on a young team that's contending, first and foremost, halfway, I feel like when you start the season off, you won't really know if you're a contender or not. And when I say non-contending teams, I don't mean teams that are giving up per se, but teams where you're kind of more like for the Knights, for example, after like game 3, I was starting to feel like we're not pivoting our direction, but I want to get everybody involved offensively, and develop everybody offensively, right? Whereas if you look at a team in the Lions, everybody was involved offensively, but it was like you knew who the two guys were bringing the ball up, right?
Yeah.
For-
Mm-hmm.
So as a younger player, I feel like if you're on a contending team, you kind of just need to understand that there's a role to play and it's not a bad role per se. Like we give credit.
Yeah.
Nathan Lanning has been the best player in the league objectively, depending on who you ask, for some time now, right?
Who we asking? Who we asking?
Hey man, this is gonna end up taking like 20 minutes to debate over this, so we can get into that another time.
Oh man, I kind of want to get into it, bro.
Let's
No,
get
we'll
into
definitely.
it, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. All right, man. We can get into it.
That's a
I see the
long
last
road.
time. No, it is a long road. I remember last time Alan and I we were having that what was it, Aiden Stockton Zach conversation outside of like
Yes.
where were
Sit
we? I
back,
can't
guys.
remember
We are
where we
off
were.
script. Remember, I told you to get a blanket, get some
Yeah,
popcorn.
Yes. Yeah.
You might need some tea too. You know what I mean?
No, Ty, it was Zach and Cole
it was
Koski.
Cole,
That's
Zach, and
yeah,
Cole.
Zach and Cole
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
Aiden
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
in the
Right.
league yet. Yeah.
No, no,
Oh,
no, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right,
that's
right.
true.
That
Yeah,
Zach and
man.
guys,
Cole.
I don't think
Wow, that's a whole other
any of
era.
us can say that at this point anyone's even in contention with Aiden Stockton. At
Hey,
like
man.
Frazier is on his way.
He's only in grade 10. You're grade
Nathan,
10, right?
I think if Nathan carries this same kind of team to like an OCC or a finals, then you can have that conversation. But what Aiden was able to do was just to me like he didn't have the one season. Yes, he had obviously he had
KJ?
KJ, But we had a lot of players who had never played basketball, never played anything, and Aiden carried them to a finals, you know what I mean, and won it. So I mean, he didn't have a Riem and a Eddie and you know what I mean, all these pieces,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know, man. I think like Nathan has, if he was this next season, if he can do it, if he can pull it off, and what he did this season was great too. But if he actually brings it to the finals and brings an OCC, then you can talk about the comparison to Aiden. But I just don't think there's anyone in that level yet.
Wow. You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I found Nathan had an off season, if we're honest, right? But
Mm.
in that, he still had 21 points per game,
Which is amazing.
Like, and he was still like, yeah, I know it is. Like, there's so many players at CYBL that would aspire to be at that place.
Yeah. An off season of 21 points. That's pretty great. His leadership though, by the way, for anyone, wondering about his off season, he actually pivoted to being more of a leader this season and building. Mm-hmm. I think that's something you can say about Nathan. Everyone around him gets better. So he is probably one of the greatest leaders in the league for sure.
Wow. Oof. I got something, y'all. We're going to have to talk about this though. Because Nathan left the Flames, and we thought they literally couldn't get past the first round.
Mm.
Think about that for a sec. I'm just saying, like obviously we know,
that's true.
But this has to be in the equation at some point when we talk about the the greatest of all time, the Mount Rushmore of CYBL. Obviously, he's not on the top. I think Aiden's on the top. But when we talk about that, I think Nathan, he definitely brought something. He brings something where he goes, wherever he goes. Like there is dare I say, an aura that follows him where he goes. that really it really uplifts his team, like you said, and I think that's very true. But we're gonna bust this can of beans open right now. Ty,
it's the hot take. Ty,
give us the hot take, and then I want Frazier to respond.
Yes,
I need to hear Frazier.
Before I go on to this hot take, real quick, I just want to touch on what you just said, Daniel, about the Flames not making it out of the first round. I do give them some sort of, I give them some sort of lenience, just in the sense that, I mean, they played against their former best player. They played against the person who could have been the best player in the league. Yeah, he didn't win the MVP. Nathan didn't win the MVP. But going into that season, we all said Nathan Lanning was going to be the best player.
We all said that,
right? So they went against somebody who's been in the league for time, someone who has so much playoff experience, somebody who is a phenomenal player, phenomenal, like an offensive machine, literally the offense, the system. He's the system, right?
He is the system.
And they went against that individual, and they didn't have necessarily an answer for Nathan, but also just the fact that Aiden stepped up, like I mentioned. If Aiden doesn't step up, it's a blowout, man.
Yeah, it was.
Like it would have been a blowout.
That
if
is
Aiden
true.
Doesn't step up. And so it's
Very
like
true.
I don't think it's fair per se to be like they didn't make it out the first round, because again, it's like really, like, even if you look at other leagues, NBA, anything, like when a former player plays against his team and they're like a really dominant, does that, first and foremost, does that team really, like, do you really like be like, oh, y'all didn't beat them, or y'all didn't make out the first round? You know what I'm saying? When you're playing against a player who, I'm not saying Nathan was like carrying the Flames last season, but like Nathan and Aiden had experience. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of experience. They've been in the league for time, and Aiden was an impact player. And mind you, Aiden was averaging like, I think like 4 point something points per game
in the regular season.
And in the playoffs, he jumped to like at least 12 per game. You know what I'm saying? And he was shooting like from the 3-point line too. It wasn't even like he was
it was like
impressive. Big body in the 3-point line. Aiden was shooting at least 35% from the three. So it's like you have that jump from someone who's been in the playoffs. There's no nerves, right? And like I said, Ryder's first time in the playoffs as a first option, and he's going against his old, right? Yeah, and MVP, of course. But like he's going against Nathan and Aiden, who are like they relatively like don't actually drop in the playoffs. Like throughout CYBL,
that's why you got playoff Nate, bro. Playoff Nate.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're playoff risers. They're not droppers, man.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I think that was a good lesson for them. I think next season when they come back, they'll be stronger. They have experience. They know that what it's like to play against somebody who doesn't phase in the playoffs. Because, again, you can get scared, man. You get pressure. As a coach, I was so scared. I coached against Allen in the playoffs. My heart was pounding. My heart was pounding that game, man. And, I was talking to my mom afterwards. My mom was even like, I could just
Yeah.
tell. I could tell you were nervous. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the nerves. No matter who you are, there are nerves.
Hmm.
Whether you're a coach, whether you're a
Yeah.
player, even as refs, I'm scared to ref. If it's an intense game, I'm now like, yo, like, because you know, if you miss one call, it's like everybody's turning and
It's
looking their
huge. It's
head. You know what I'm
huge,
saying?
man.
So it's like
Yeah.
you really gets into you, man. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think you got to cut them some slack, man. Just let them figure it out this
Hey,
season.
hey, man. Hey, I gotta stir the pot, bro. That's what I'm here
No,
for,
of
man.
course, of
We gotta
course, of
get the
course,
we gotta
man.
get the comments going. You know what I mean? The pot
Yeah.
Of
has to get
course, of
stirred.
course.
Is we're gonna move on to the final part of our pod here because obviously we know one season has come to a close, but one season is about to begin. It is the winter season, and with that being said, there's a lot of stories to watch. Some of these things that we're talking about today, this is unfinished business. These are things that we're actually going to get to see come out into fruition this season when we think about who's going to be the greatest of all time in this era and who is the greatest right now in this era. And so some of the breakout players, obviously our pod has been going for a while here. So I want to just kind of sum up some things real quick. And maybe we'll do some like rapid fire going into the end of this season. And going into the start of next season from you guys. I want you guys to tell me first and foremost what team you think has the most to prove going into this season.
The Flames.
Yeah, all right. Frazier says Flames. We're gonna go over to Ty because I think we lost Alan there for a second. Ty, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna say True North. I think True North for sure. I was going to say the Flames, but I just give the Flames the benefit of the doubt just because, again, they're figuring things out. However, True North, they had their finals. They lost in the finals. I said this season they would go to the finals because they would be hungry
Mm,
after losing in heartbreaking fashion to the Flames last season or like 2 seasons ago, however you want to say it. But that
yeah,
summer
yeah.
season. And they obviously, I feel like they disappointed. Obviously, the Lions were phenomenal, so it was like you can't get mad at the Lions for making it. But like, I just wanted them to have that hunger, and I didn't see them having that hunger. So I feel like they got to
Mm,
prove that they have that hunger.
mm, yeah, yeah. Well, for sure.
Uh,
We'll go to our next one real quick. Next one here I have for you guys is who do you think is, and this will be our final one here. Who do you think would you say are the teams that, well, the players that you think will have breakout seasons coming into this season? What do you think? We'll start with
mm,
Ty this time.
You know, that's a very hard question. I feel like just because it depends on the roster construction of a team. Like, Ryder would not have had this breakout season if he was still with Nathan Lanning, right? Ryder
Mm,
would not be an MVP if Nathan Lanning was still on his team. Maybe he would have, but it's a very slim chance because he would not have had
yeah,
all the shots that he had and so on and so forth. So I feel like asking that question right now becomes difficult just because of who is, on the team. However,
yeah,
I love Landon's game, man. I have a little bit of some bias just because of Landon being a
yeah.
previous player I coached, but I feel
It's come
like
a long way,
Landon,
man.
yeah,
Crazy.
he's come a long way and he's gotten better and he's young. I think he's in grade 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So he
yeah. He's
has
very young, very young. Still.
like he has 3 years left to play
Yeah.
CYBL seasons, and I feel like he's slowly progressing into that solid playmaker, solid point guard, and he's one of the things we were really working on was the jump shot.
Mm.
If he can get that
Mm-hmm.
jump shot down, because it's a little flat, he misses that spin on it and that
Mm.
arc. But if
Mm-hmm.
he gets a jump shot easily, that jump is immediately happening. If he has a reliable jump shot, he will
Yeah.
win most improved player, and I'm
Wow.
willing to like bet that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that he 100% is my player to pick.
Mm. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. What about you, Frazier?
I think I'd say my brother. I think he's the one
Mm.
most improved because I just feel
Okay.
like if he was giving like the way he ended last season, if we're talking
Mm.
about that level of player, that's all star. That's like
Yeah.
mm, that's top. That's top tier level play. Like we're talking about defensive anchor type of player grabbing like 10 to 12 boards a game, scoring off, like setting good screens. We're getting to the basket. We're getting to the rim. He has that short jumper
Mm-hmm.
when his touch is going. Like if that's there the whole season, we're talking about a guy who's like, he's got to get around the basket game. He's
Yeah.
setting good screens for me. He's setting good screens for the whole team, really. And he's a very good rim protector, and definitely rebounding. He's our best rebounder. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. It's good. Guys, you heard it here first. On the CYBL Today pod, we had an exclusive for you. We essentially did double the minutes today of our normal podcast for you guys. So you guys got a lot of content to feast on before the season begins, and even after it begins until our next podcast. So, guys, did you have fun today? Fun on the pod?
I did.
I did. I enjoyed being here, man. It was really nice to be here.
Amazing. Well, we hope to have you guys back. Ty, you'll be back. Frazier,
yeah.
we hope you'll be back. We'll get to watch you on the court.
After I win the OCC, I'll be back.
Okay. He's calling it. He is calling it. Okay, I like that. Set the goal before you, man. It's good. But yeah, guys, we want to give a big thank you to all you for joining us on our pod today. Make sure that you guys, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, get connected, because this season is about to be one for the ages. I think it's going to be a historic season. It's our second OCC season. There's some new things coming out about this second OCC. We'll not spoil it for you, but it's going to be great. It's going to be a great season. So you're going to want to be a part of this. You want to follow along the way the whole time. And, last but not least, actually the most important thing I want to share with you guys is that, here at CYBL, our value and our mission, right, is first God at the forefront. And it's mentorship, then basketball, because at the end of the day here, this whole thing has been based and built on the foundation of Jesus, giving everybody the hope in him. Last season we talked about this is life, and all that entails, that we can find life in him. And so, hey, I could tell all you guys that are watching right now, life is found in Jesus and nowhere else. So yeah, guys, just want to share that with you guys. Bless you guys. Take care, and we'll see you on the next pod. Take care, guys.